Hi, this is our third video on non-legal research. In this video, we're going to cover finding company information. So most of the sources of information we're going to look at have to do with public companies. So companies who have stocks on one of the securities exchanges and are subject to SEC regulation, which requires them to file lots of information, right? So a lot of these sources are not Mass specific, but of course you could use them to look up Massachusetts companies. We are going to look at one Mass specific source, which is the Secretary of the Commonwealth, the web page, and the corporate filings that are available there. So we're going to start with Bloomberg Law because I think it's a really good source for corporate law research, for company research. And one thing I wanted to show you, even if even in this new view it works the same, is that you can, on the main search bar, start to type a public company name like Alnylam Pharmaceuticals, which is the company that we're going to use. And it starts to autofill, and you can see that the one that we want is the top one, Alnylam Pharmaceuticals, and under company. And when you get to this page, there's a lot of information about this company, including its stock performance, who are its officers, if it's involved in litigation, what law firms represent it, what news, how has it been in the news lately, etc. One thing that we talked about in the first video were public filings, SEC or EDGAR filings. Those are accessible here as well by clicking on this link. We can get to the filings of Alnylam, the company that we're looking at. And I mentioned to you that the most important filing that you're going to want to look at, or the filing that has the most information, is the annual report, or 10K. So we'll take a quick look at that here on Bloomberg Law. And when we're looking at this 10K, we're getting the 10K filing itself as well as attached exhibits. So we're not going to worry about the exhibits too much for this class. I just want you to look at the 10K itself and get a sense of what this document looks like. So you can see that it gives you the information about the company name, where the company is located, its state or jurisdiction of incorporation. If we scroll a little bit further, you can see there's a table of contents with information that's contained in this document, including information about the business, risk factors, if there are any legal proceedings against this company. It has information about who the director and executive officers are, what their compensation might be, etc. So you can take a quick look at one of these tables of contents to get a sense of the information that's contained in the 10K or annual report. So as a lot of times is true on Bloomberg Law, there's more than one way to get to information. So I showed you one quick, easy way, which was to use the main go bar, just type in the company's name. Another place that you could look is if you go under Browse and pick Home, instead of being on the landing page, you get this other page that has popular links. And the one that we want to look at is this Business Intelligence Center. So there's a lot of information here, including we can look up the company. Again, we'd get to that same Alnylam page. There's also different information about industries, how to find key people, some templates, other resource and analysis, including litigation analysis, docket search, EDGAR search, which are those SEC filings. So that's another place we could, if we were looking for SEC filings, we could click on that link. I did want to show you this company report writer. You could use this, and we'll use Alnylam again, to get a little bit more information about a particular company. All right, so I've already run the company report. So what you would do is you would either do a custom report or a quick report. I just ran a quick report. And I'm just going to go to my download center and show you what this looks like. So these reports are super helpful to get a background information on the company. It tells you about the most recent litigation, debt and offering securities, holdings, corporate actions, and it's just a whole summary of a lot of information about this particular company. And again, we get to that using the company report writer, and that was on the business intelligence page. This is a new page that's really helpful for looking up company information. Okay, so the next resource that we're going to look at is Lexis Advance, and I mentioned to you before that this company and financial tab was the place to find company information. You can see there are some company profiles here, similar to what we looked at on Bloomberg. There are also SEC filings. On Bloomberg, these were called Edgar filings, but that's where we'd find, for example, Alnylam's 10K. Let's take a quick look at the company profiles, and we'll run. Okay, so we'll just run a quick search here for Alnylam. And because I just ran a quick search, we might be getting some things that aren't Alnylam Pharmaceuticals, but I just wanted you to take a quick look at how this search works. And if you look over on the left, you can see the different sources, some of which were mentioned in your reading, like the Dun & Bradstreet, the Hoovers, and there are some others, the LexisNexis one, the MarketLine one. And they're just different reports varying in length about Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. So this is just one example here. And you can see it might not be as long as what we got on Bloomberg, but it's similar. We're getting business descriptions, analysis of the company's products, financial information, location and subsidiaries, key employees, etc. Also under company and financials, this is where we would find SEC filings, where we could search for SEC filings from Alnylam. You could search all the combined filings. You could do an advanced search so that you would limit just to Alnylam Pharmaceuticals, perhaps, and the form type, which if you're looking just for the annual report, which would be the 10K. Okay, I won't run a search here because we're already running a little bit long, and it's similar to what we looked at on Bloomberg Law. But if this is the resource that you have at work on Lexis, this is where you would find those SEC or Edgar filings. Okay, we're going to take a look at Westlaw now, and as I mentioned in the first video, the place that we're going to look for information is the Business Law Center. And there's a lot of information here for public companies. The SEC filings, the general search is up at the top, so you can run a search in all of the Edgar filings, which are the SEC filings, all forms and exhibits. You could limit by just looking for the type of filing that you're looking for. For example, you could be just looking for 10K, which is the annual report. You can look at merger and acquisition, transaction information, and some other categories of information that are helpful if you're practicing business law. We'll just take a look at the 10K filings search, and we'll look again for our company, Alnylam. And you can see I'm getting a list of all their 10Ks with the most recent one on the top. We'll take a quick look at it. Some of the features here are very nice on Westlaw. So in addition to looking at the 10K itself, we can navigate to the different sections of the 10K. For example, information about the business. We can click right onto it using this table of contents here on the left. It has the exhibits listed separately, and there's 7 of them. The things that we're going to be mostly looking at are the information actually contained in the 10K, at least for this class. So you could use this handy table of contents feature. So the feature that I'm talking about using for this class is that Business Law Center. Another one I wanted to mention quickly is the Company Investigator. The reason I'm not going to spend too much time on it is a lot of the underlying resources we don't have access to in our academic accounts. But if you have this resource at work, it could be another good place to go to find out information about companies. Some of these tools we do have where it says other business reports, and some of them were mentioned in the reading, like the Dun & Bradstreet reports or the Hoover company profiles. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that the Company Investigator is one other place on Westlaw where you could go to get company information. Okay, we're going to look at a couple free sources now. And we're going to start at the SEC website. So there's a couple of things I wanted to point out here. This is the SEC EDGAR site where you can look up SEC filings. There are some tutorials here, the quick EDGAR tutorial. There's also a forms list that explains more about the different types of forms that public companies are required to file. So we're not going to go into that much detail for this class, but I wanted you to know about these resources here in case you do more SEC or public company work. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to search for a company filing using the EDGAR tools. And we're going to search by company name. We'll just put our name in right here. And there are more options, but we're just going to do a simple name search. And I know it's this one, Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. And we could limit by filing type or by date, but because the 10K was filed fairly recently, it's up at the top. You could get some interactive data, but we're just going to look at the documents themselves. And you can see here's the 10K right here at the top. And it looks the same as it looked on the other sites. The features might not be as fancy as Westlaw, but you do get an interactive table of contents, and the information, of course, is the same. So pretty good for a free source. Okay, the next free source I wanted to mention is the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts website, and we are under corporations, search the corporate database. And I don't know whether this is my browser. Hopefully it won't look so funny on your screen. But what I want to do is look in the corporate database again for our company, Alnylam. And again, this is a free resource that I mentioned on the first slideshow. We're going to search corporations. And when I get here, because I've already done this, I know it's this third one that I'm interested in. And I can see that the registered agent for service of process is CT Corporation, and that's because even though Alnylam is based in Cambridge, that's where their offices are, they were actually incorporated in Delaware, so they are what we call a foreign corporation. So foreign meaning not a Massachusetts corporation. So if I wanted to serve process on them, they actually have a corporate headquarters here, so I could serve it there. But it's also sometimes important to know the registered agent. I can also see who the officers are. I get a little information about their stock. I can look at past filings. So there's some good free information available at the Secretary of the Commonwealth website. Finally, I wanted to remind you that nowadays you can often go to the company website itself and get a lot of good information about the company. The tab that you'd want to look at or what you want to look for in all of these public companies is where it says investors. This is going to have the information that's closer to what we were looking at the SEC website and Bloomberg Law, etc. So the SEC filings are here, corporate governance information, an overview of the company, ownership profiles, etc. Okay, so that's just a little bit of background information about finding company information.